Hey Kylie, how are you? This is Rob here. I'm fighting through some technical difficulties today, but I'm hoping that I can give you a little bit of feedback on your project. Let's see if I can get this going and get my mouse going here, get my pen going. Okay, so obviously everything's rotated on a 45 because you were trying to maximize your sun orientation. Let me take a look. So it's kind of interesting. You kind of have these three, if I look at it from a broader perspective, I'm wondering, based on what you saw from Shannon the other day, I'm wondering if these three can be pulled apart a bit. And I see the building setback, so I'll ignore that. And I wonder if you can begin to get at some courtyards in between these and actually get some light going deeper into the building. And that's sometimes probably some of the goals that we might have in that project. So that's sort of just an overview kind of idea. Um, Now, let me get into what you have. So instead of sort of actually connecting all of these more directly, you can maybe do it a little bit more spread out and have some courtyards, whether indoor or outdoor. So your doorway is coming in this way. I understand that. And you're going to have a vestibule here. You're also having your employees and parents coming in this way. So you probably might want to get a second entry over here. Certainly, schools really don't like to have two entries, but it does seem like a little bit of a long walk. The other thing is this facility seems to get more and more prominence in your schemes, and I think facilities is mechanical room. I don't know what that is. I got to go back and look at your program, but I would argue that your admin should be right up front here, right, where they're seeing everything coming, and they have this great old reception desk right here, so that reception desk is built into the admin. So I would take admin and move it that way. I would take facilities management and put it in the basement. And because you have a two-story building here, you're probably going to have a stair here, and you're probably going to have a stair over here somewhere. I'll wait to see what the second floor looks like. You're certainly going to have some loading back over here. And of course, you're immediately seeing the problem with the 45-degree angle building on this rectangular site is you get very awkward spaces. And I know you just said you put this on there the best that you could. Tend to try to run longer and thinner spaces, running along with the sun. So this science building really wants to run like that, and that feels a lot better. And once you do that, then you now have an opening to the outdoors here where you can kind of come in that way, go around the stair, and then all of a sudden you're in this very nice outdoor area, which is over here. And the gym and all that looks fine. Restrooms are almost too exposed right in the middle, but we'll go with those for now. And I would maybe keep those down there because you can shut off the building at night so that people can come into the gym and also use the restrooms and the kitchen. So I guess the shut off is about there. So there's something to be thinking about on the first floor. As far as parking goes, I think it's interesting you got the parking over here. And it looks like, I guess this could work. I think you wouldn't probably do it exactly like that, but I guess it could be close, right? You probably have little islands here, so I know you're just putting this on quickly. And so what ends up happening is you get something like this. I know you don't do a lot of parking lots, and you're probably lucky for it. Your curb cuts need to be, I think, maybe a little bit more generous on those. Um, but maybe that could work. So if that's true, then people are going to come out of their car. They want to come into the building. So that's why I'm proposing you put another entry there, or I guess you could have a long pathway here that will lead them back. Now, as far as the sidewalk goes, you don't have to come in that much. You could just come in at this level, right, and have your buses pulled in. And then your sidewalk should continue around with that, right? You don't want to kill the sidewalk, so you're going to bring that around. And all of a sudden, maybe you have a path here and you have a really nice courtyard space here that welcomes people into the building. Not sure what all happens here. That's why I'm thinking you could probably put more function on the first floor or change your functions and get some stuff going out into here because I don't see any magic. I don't think this space out here is really doing you any good. So something to think about there. So there's a lot of scribble on your drawing. I'm going to go back. I might come back up to the first floor as I get a sense of what you're doing. So I'm assuming that all your classes are on the second floor. So part of the problem is you really have these long, thin classrooms, and for sun access, you're not getting the relationship that you really want. What you really want to get is something that is much longer and thinner, like that, and where the classrooms have the exact opposite shape, so that the light can penetrate deeply into there. Now, and this goes back to my idea before saying, hey, why don't you do these 3 bars? And I know they don't fit, so don't panic. So you have these 3 bars where there's enough space, and you saw that in the project that Shannon showed you, where you can start to build in space, and then the classrooms can all you can put more classrooms like this. Maybe the stairs are in here like you have, and maybe that's really the series of 3 bars facing south, which could be actually kind of good. That'll take some reworking, of course, but could be an interesting way of solving some of your problems. And so your classrooms can run in chunks like this, and I really don't know the details, so you're probably going to have a hard time making that work, but it certainly would be worth trying to do in terms of getting that done. So let me see if I can erase those and see what's under there. So let's take another look at this, and let's take a look at what you have already and not try to just tell you to start over. So we got, let's see. So, So, let's see here. We've got kindergarten has pretty nice exposure, but the art room has almost very well. I guess that's all glass there, but that's a western exposure for an art room, so you probably wouldn't do that. You'd probably have your art room, up here, trying to get some northern light, and you probably wouldn't have. What would you have here? I'm on the first floor. I'm on the second floor. Okay, see, the gym is a double height space. I see that. So, yeah, these spaces are a little too deep, I think. These bathrooms probably want to stack in with the bathrooms that you had on the first floor. So I'm wondering if you don't think about, I see how this was a pain for you. You probably want to try to do a rework and get these classrooms to have better shapes in terms of solar orientation. And just as a reminder, those shapes look more like this. And I know you're thinking, I can't fit them. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to put 3 in there. I'm going to move your stair down a little bit. I'm going to put another row of 3 classrooms. 1, 2, 3. So there's a classroom, 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 and then there's going to be a little corridor action back to another set of 3 classrooms. So you get 9 rooms up here. And again, you'll need to redesign this project in order to do that. I don't think that's a terrible thing. I think what you did was pretty interesting. You'll have to have some staircases here. You've got this guy here, and you're probably going to have a staircase here, so that your circulation path is going to be, let me see if I can get you a better. So the circulation is going to be something like this, and then it's going to go out, right? So there's a stair here, and a stair here, and then the main stair is going to be right in the middle. So that's your basic organization. And then you're going to have the stairs here. Then you're going to have these 3 bars. So you're going to have a bar, which is sort of like this and like that. So that's one grouping. You're going to have a bar that does this maybe. And I'm talking about some decent space in between, and a bar that does that as an organization. And you see your circulation goes there. And actually that bar can come, the 45s are tough. At some point you might want to get into some other angles to kind of smooth out the building. Now if I go back to the first floor and I'll look at that opportunity there, what I'm going to do here is, I guess I can just erase, because this was like a bunch of scribble, right? So the first thing I would do probably is think about moving this stair down a bit. So maybe having a stair like that, and then having a bar here, and then having a big old bar here, right, with the admin right there. And maybe there's, maybe the entry moves. I would move the entry down to here maybe, and then you have another bar here, which is your gym, your lunchroom, and all that kind of stuff. So I would say, and then the circulation again, just to kind of look at that again, is I'm going to have something that goes like this. I'm going to have a way to come through there, and I'm going to go out like that, right? So there's also going to be a stair here and a stair here at the end. So I'm thinking maybe admin up in this zone here, and maybe entering this way. So the cars, people, and these people kind of come together, And I think that could be a nice way of thinking about how that could work. So yeah, I think that works pretty good. You got the stair there, and maybe your bathrooms do stay in this zone right here as part of that, right along the circulation path. And this space was science, so the science kind of has a good spot to go. And then these three classrooms, you got library, music, and art, I believe. You got your gym, you got your kitchen, and your lunch there, and you probably want to have a loading opportunity there or some way for bands to pull up. You don't need giant trucks to be able to pull up to the school. It's a very small school. So that tells me probably that this is probably the main entry. It still works very well. And so now what happens, what I like about this is all of this becomes your piazza. This is your main urban space that relates to the city. And maybe try to move this parking down a little bit so that you get a little more back to the corner. And I believe parking can go into the setbacks and into the buffer zones, maybe. So we'll check in on that, and that might give you something that actually looks, I don't know. To me, that looks like it's got an organization, a circulation pattern, and some solar orientation that could be very advantageous. Of course, when you take your sections, you'll be doing sections. You want to kind of cut through all of these and see what you can find about the sun angles. And what I'm proposing is the other way to look at these are courtyards. And that's a totally different way of thinking about it. If you go back to the project that Shannon presented on Wednesday, this could have a lot of similarities to that. So, okay, I hope this is helpful. And I'm really hoping this recorded because I've been having a lot of technical problems lately. So let's just hope that I can hit the stop recording button and it's going to actually capture it.